Welcome back to Half A Hot Rods. If you haven't been here before, I'm Adam. I'm a guy with no particular talent, money, or know-how, or even the right tools to be doing stuff with these old trucks. But we're figuring it out. We're doing it. We're showing that if I can do it, you can do it. So, we're getting back to work this week on this 57 Chevy truck on a 97 Chevy chassis. And the goal of the day, or this video, is to get the new rear end, new used rear end that we fixed up last time, under this truck. Now, the simple, easy, quick thing to do would be to take the old one out, put the new one in, and be done with it. But, because I don't like simple and easy, that I wouldn't know what to do. I also want to strip as much rust off as I can, clean up the frame, and paint it black before I do that, or while I do that, as the case might be. So I got started this morning, and this side I found a body mount for the old cab that was still on there that I had to trim off and grind and smooth, and it's better now. Got a lot of the rust off this side, most of what I could do with the big wire brush. And we'll have to go back with a smaller wire brush on a drill and get that. And then we still need to do the inside of both frame rails, the outside of this one, the underside, the leaf springs. Yeah. But I think it's about time to get this old axle out of the way. That'll make the leaf springs and all that easier. So let's get going on that. And I do a lot of stuff without the right tools, but with these U-bolts, this is one of those situations where it's really nice to have the right tool for the job. So, we're going to get our tools gathered up. I have pre-soaked these with PB Blaster to loosen them up. I've cleaned the dirt out of them. I haven't heated them or anything yet, but we do have little torches if I had to do that. I've pre-soaked some of the other bolts and stuff that we'll need to get out too. So I guess there's nothing to it but to do it. Let's get started. You still want to be prepared for things to go poorly. So we've got a jack to catch the diff. And yeah, we're going to get the right tool for the job. Make sure it fits perfect. Well, how about that? Right tool for the job. Okay, well, it didn't go exactly the way I had it planned. Ouch! Any of you that doubted the bit about the sweat in the goggle, see it? Isn't that gross? Woo! Trying to get me. It's okay, Mudflap, I'm fine. Got him! Got him! Got him. Got him. Alright. Let's get this guy drug out of here and get on to the next problem. So normally I would try and reuse the U-bolts, but in this case, if you look at the top there right by the nut, you can see there's no threads. I'm going to go clean them up on the wire wheel so you can see it better. When you're on a budget, this is the kind of stuff that really pains me because it's not cool, it's not fun, it's not going to make the truck cooler, but I suppose if the rear axle doesn't come out from under it, that's good. And if they're all like this, I just don't want to take any chances with them coming apart. Maybe it would have been fine, but I'm not going to take the chance. New U-bolts were about 15 bucks a piece, so 60 bucks, which is more than I wanted to spend on U-bolts, but it is what it is. There's some stuff you can't short on. So we got new ones. The question is, can I get these nuts off? Because if I can get those nuts off, I'll reuse those if they're okay. These nuts.
What?
These nuts. Try a little forward first. Easy peasy. It's the next day, and since I saw you last, we put in about 3 hours of wire brushing, wire wheeling, grinding, cutting, cleaning up, and what you see before you is not perfect, but it's going to be good enough. Remember, we're not trying to make it good, we're just trying to make it less bad and get some color on it. So, about to blow this off, and then we'll get started on some paint.
Why are you so sweaty?
Alright, I found a few more spots that needed more cleaning. Did that, got the paint out. About time to crack it open and just get going on it. And we'll see how far we get. I hope there's enough to do this whole back frame, but I don't know for sure, so nothing to it but to do it. Let's get rolling. Well, the battery died, and I just kept painting. You can only watch so much painting. And we did run out of paint before I got it completely done, but most of the areas that are not done are going to be hard to get to with a brush or a roller anyway. And that's the first time I've used a roller. That was slick. So I will do that again. But anyway, we'll go back and get the places that I didn't get with a spray can, because they're going to be hard to get at anyway, so we'll just kind of fog it in there. But it looks pretty good considering it's not finished yet. We're going to let that dry, and then we'll put the rear end in, and then we'll start fogging stuff as it shows up. I'll have to go to town and get a can. But yeah, it's hot out here anyway, so I'm ready to go inside, take a break. My phone actually stopped charging because it's too hot for it to charge, but apparently it's not too hot for me to work. But yeah, there we go. We got 95% of the paint done. I was dripping a lot more than I thought, and then I stepped in it, and then I tracked it all over. What are you gonna do? It's really hard to find good help. So yeah, we'll be back here in a minute. Okay, we're back. It's a different day. It's actually about 5 days later because I felt like trash for 5 days. Luckily, 4 of those days I just went to my regular job, so I didn't miss much shop time. But next step is we need to get the new rear end under there. And in order to do that, I got to get it fished out of there and drug out of the mess. And I think the easiest way to maneuver that is going to be on these roller skates. So now we got to get the Bel Air down on the ground so I can get those roller skates. I think we'll use my new Chinesium jack that I got off of the Tic Tac, and we'll get things situated so we can get back to work. Wyatt's out here to help me or work on wheelie trike stuff or small engine stuff or just make noise and curse in the background until I have to cut all the sound out of my video.
Bingo.
Bingo.
All right, here we go. All right, before we get too much further, I want to finish cleaning up the U-bolt saddles and these things that go on top of the leaf springs and stuff before I get all this stuff kind of suspended and wanting to move around in midair. We'll get these cleaned up so that once they're on there, I can just hose them with a little spray paint, and then we can snug bolts down and make it stay. So, be right back. Okay, so I think I spent like an hour, maybe a little more, cleaning up washers and nuts and stuff, and the the bracket that goes on the bottom side. But I got pretty much all the loose rust knocked off those. Did I need to do that? Probably not, but we'll put them on there and then we'll fog a little paint on them, and hopefully that'll keep them from rusting so fast. And yeah, it's the next day now because, naturally I got sidetracked with other stuff. I had to go pick up Mudflap. He won't be out here with us today. He's feeling a little under the weather. He's a little less the man than he was the day before. He had a little, we're calling him El Perito No Huevos now. You know what that means?
I see what you did there.
So, yeah, he's going to rest today and take it easy. So, let's see if we can get this thing jacked up to where it meets the little nub that sticks out the bottom like that, and get it to meet in there on both sides. And then we'll get our new U-bolts in. We'll get our nice clean nuts on there. And yeah, then we can put the drive line in and put wheels and tires on and set her on the ground. And have I got a surprise for you when it comes to wheels and tires? It's going to be good. It's going to be so good. All right, here we go. There it is. There she be. All right. Got our little plates in there. We cleaned up yesterday. I did try the U-bolts over the leaf springs yesterday and through these holes to make sure they were all going to play nice together before we got this far. So they should. I'm just going to bring them up tight enough to keep it from moving around. My socket's not deep enough. And those U-bolts kind of look like they're going to run out of threads. That's a problem I didn't anticipate. Interesting. So much for a quick and easy job. You see the problem? I want to say that's about where we were tightened to before. I ordered these for the vehicle that rear end came out of, and that obviously had a thicker spring pack because it was a 1 ton, not a 3/4 ton. Not a huge deal. If we had threads further up, we'd just tighten it further up. But we don't have threads further up. And I don't know that I have anything to cut threads in that. Great.
Good, great, grand, wonderful.
I guess we'll see how close we get. It's not close. Looking at it ain't gonna fix it. I'll be back once I figure this out. All right, I'm back as promised with a solution. Let me walk you through my process here, and I promise you'll get a much shorter version than I did because it's now about 4 hours later. So, came to my tap and die set, and there's clearly nothing big enough in there to work for it because I thought I'll just cut some more threads on there. And I'm like, I'm hosed. And then Wyatt says, no, Dad, I got a big tap and die set, which he does. And it is all standard. So I kept trying, couldn't get any of them to work. So I finally went in the house with one of the packages from these U-bolts with the number, and that number on the Google tells me it's a 16 millimeter deal, so it's metric. So I'm like, okay, I gotta go to town and get feed anyway, so maybe I'll get a die so I can cut more threads in that. Well, because that's really the only problem. If we had more threads on here, we'd be in good shape. Went to town. Of course, nobody's got a die that big unless you want to buy the whole set, like Wyatt's, only the metric version. That's $90. I didn't want to spend that on it. And also, that's probably going to be pretty hard to cut threads in. So I double checked. I'm still within the time frame to return these to Rock Auto. And the local parts house had these guys. They're 5/8, which is within just a couple thousandths of 16 millimeter. Of course, they only had one set to do one side, so then I had to go next door to the AutoZone and got the other set. But we do now have a solution. And here's the biggest difference between the two. These have threads all the way up. Both the aftermarket ones do. So we can use those. They're still going to be too long, and then cut them down to size. Let me get this phone call and then we'll get to work. Get them pretty snug and then we'll double check everything.
Rinse, repeat.
All right, I told you I had a big surprise for you at the end of this. The 57 is out of its normal spot, right? That's where it's been for the last few months. And you couldn't fully appreciate what's going on there. So are you ready? I don't think you're ready for this, but I'm going to show you anyway. I couldn't wait any longer. Here it is. It looks the same, right? It's a good looking truck. It really is. I mean, those classic looks they're hard to improve on. But wait, there's more. We got that new rear end in. But wait, there's more. What? Tandem axles? Woo! Why? Because I like to party. Why wouldn't you? I'm just kidding. That's dumb. Why would I do that? I can't afford that kind of tires. And those are two different width axles. That would present another challenge. All right. You guys hang tight. We'll get on to the real surprise. All right, guys. It took a little longer than expected. And it turns out the wheel studs that I cleaned up the threads on when I was doing the rear axle work, I might have just cut some new threads on it. So I don't know what I'm going to do there, because now I think they have standard nuts on them and they should have metric. The metric ones didn't want to go. I ended up jamming one on there and cutting it off, and it's not good. However, I did manage to get the wheels and tires on the back of this that I want to put on it. And my heart says milled 22s, semi-wheels, dually. But my wallet says you better run Steelies and 16s, my friend. So here we go. What do you think about that? Man, I think those white Steelies are going to look good. I got some cleaned up for the front, but I don't have new tires on them yet. Yeah, those are some fat meats in the back. Look at that. Tight fit. Man, they look good. Now Wyatt and I just got to build a bed for it. Yeah, that's good. It's so good. I think that's going to do it for this week. I think it kind of has to, because I got other stuff to do, and I got to get this video edited tonight and ready to roll in the morning. So if you like what we're doing, please click like, subscribe, come back and look at some of the other videos, see how we got where we're at. And donkeys are hollering in the background. And come back and see us again. As always, remember, if I can do it, you can do it. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time.